Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. In the last week's Lokas, we saw that Arjuna raised a question. The question was very important. It is very relevant to all of us. We are supposed to ask these questions ourselves on an everyday basis. But on our behalf, Arjuna is now asking this question. The question that he raised to Krishna was this. When people decide not to do a few things in life, and they know fully well that doing those things cause more harm to them or to others, still they indulge in doing precisely those things uncontrollably. They engage in those things as if by force. What is the reason behind this, Krishna? That people, having decided fully well that not to indulge in actions that is causing them harm or resulting in sin, still they engage in those actions. What is the root cause of this? That is what Arjuna wanted to know. Krishna, in the next verse, answered that question. He mentioned that Kama esha, Krodha esha, Rajoguna, Samudbhavaha. Kama and Krodha, born out of Rajoguna, is the primary cause for people to indulge in actions uncontrollably. People to indulge in actions that are harmful to them and as well as others. Not in good actions, but in actions that they don't want to do, but still they are engaging. That is because of desire and anger. Desire and anger are born out of Rajoguna. And Rajoguna is the property, basic property of this material body. This material body is made out of Prakriti. Prakriti means 5 elements. And so the very nature of anything that is made out of these 5 elements is to have the natural property of Rajoguna. And based out of that Rajoguna, desire and anger are born. No one is an exception to this rule. Everyone who is alive in this world today and who has this physical body, gross body, will have the Rajoguna, and so they will exhibit desire and anger. So no one can escape this. And so by living with these two, desire and anger, more importantly desire, because anger is again born out of desire. So we can pretty much say that desire is the only thing. Anyone who is bound by desire, they will involve in actions even though they don't want to. Even though they have the knowledge that it should not be done, still they will do it. Krishna is answering. We have seen that all. We have seen that in our life. Every time we witness that, for example, we see everywhere that smoking is bad. And even smokers see that warning everywhere. And we see smokers do see the news that smoking results in impacting the lungs or affecting their lungs and resulting in death. It reduces the lifespan. But still, they smoke. That is equivalently true with alcohol also. Drinking is bad, but still people indulge in that uncontrollably without without any help, right? Helplessly they are indulged in those actions. That is because of the desire. And that was how he mentioned, and later on in the next few verses, Krishna mentioned that the wisdom that each one of us is there inside each one of us is clouded by this desire. He gave some nice examples in the last week where he said that just like how a smoke covers the fire, fire is burning and all over smoke will engulf it. If you had seen some Homa Kunda, right? Homa. Fire will be small, but smoke will be all over. That smoke is that desire inside us. Fire itself is like the wisdom that is burning inside us. But no one could see that fire apparently because smoke is covering the fire. Likewise, if you place a mirror, let's say you're living on the roadside and you just have a mirror, due to traffic, dust will fall on the mirror slowly. Every day you go just wipe off the dust, still the mirror will attract more dust. Every day that attracts the dust. And just like the dust covers the image on the mirror, desire within us, a lot of burning desire within us is trying to stop us from seeing our own wisdom. We have all the wisdom in this world. We have all the intelligence within ourselves. Believe me, every one of us has got absolute wisdom. Every one of us is the smartest, the most intelligent. Intelligence is not acquired, by the way. Just because by going to Stanford or Harvard and great universities, intelligence is not acquired. Intelligence is all inside. We are attending there to bring that intelligence out, right? Any university education or degree or master's or PhD, if you just think about it in a slightly different way, it is not that they are giving any intelligence to us. But what is happening is we are bringing the intelligence that is hidden within ourselves outside. It is manifesting outside. That intelligence is already there inside. That is just, we are just manifesting it, and the external things are just aiding it. They are agents. They are just aiding it. Some books, all those are just agents that are bringing out the intelligence within that. But otherwise, all intelligence is already there inside. Now, that intelligence is, we are not able to see it, experience it. And that is the reason that we are indulging in actions, even though we do not want to do it. We are still doing it. That is because of the smoke-like desire, which is hiding the wisdom that we have inside ourselves. And Krishna warned Arjuna that be aware that that desire which is burning inside you is the most dangerous enemy of all. And you should try to get rid of it. It is the most harmful one, and it grows. The more you fulfill your desire, the more it gets stronger. Just like how you feed a burning fire. Fire is burning. The more items you put into that, the more it burns. Likewise, if the desire is going to be fed, the more stronger it is going to be. And so watch out. Make sure that you don't feed your desires. Having desire is the very nature of this body, because this body is made out of Prakriti. And so Rajoguna is by nature inside every one of us. And so desire will also be there, but try to manage it, to control the desires. Otherwise, it is going to ruin that person, whoever who does it. Even without their own knowledge, they will be ruined by those desires. He gives a strong warning here. Now, next question that Arjuna has is, of course, we all know and we wanted to know also. He asks, he didn't ask explicitly in a sloka, but it is implicit, that as if he is asking, okay, desires are the ones that I need to get rid of, but how do I do it? How can I identify it, that it is inside me? And how does that desire stand or live inside me? Can I identify it by any means? And when it has to live, any organism for living, right, there needs to be a little bit of some mechanism. That is how it can live, right? For example, even the virus that we are speaking about, any even small virus, once they go into our body, they start attacking the good cells. That is how they can spread, right? That is how they can establish their strength within our body. They destroy all the immune system so that they can establish, virus can multiply itself and establish itself strongly. Now, is there anything like desire getting into our body and trying to establish itself? And if so, how does it do it? Now, we are all worried that when you hear about virus, COVID, Omicron, we will just panic, right? If you just go into any restaurant or any place where few people are there, you just, if anyone announces that last week I had Omicron, that's it. Everyone will start running in all directions, right? Because for obvious reasons, we all will run. And that is the right thing to do also. We don't want to stay near that. But if I announce that, if I know that I have desires inside me, I have a desire inside me, no one bothers about it, right? We all accept it. But now Krishna here warns that treat the desire itself as your virus. Because when a virus gets into a body, it destroys the person. It destroys his or her immune system. And he will be dead soon. Likewise, a desire gets into that person, he will be ruined, is the warning that Krishna is trying to give here. So watch out. And because we all have accepted that we took it for granted, we don't give that much importance to it, and we don't watch out, we don't scan the desire as it enters our system. But once it enters, what does it do? For example, even virus people have studied, right? We just like, as I said, how it multiplies, how it attacks the immune system, and then how it establishes its supremacy inside our body, and then starts attacking the vital organs of our system, so that that person is totally step by step decomposed and he is finished. Likewise, is there any mechanism for desire? If desire goes into the body, what happens? That is what now Krishna is going to explain to us in the next few verses. That is going to be very interesting. Let's see what it is. Let's share screen. Let's see where we left off last week. Okay. This is the shloka. 40th verse is what we'll have to learn. Indriyani mano buddhihi asyaadhisthanamuchyate etairvimohayatyesha jnanamavritya dehinam. Three things is being mentioned here. Indriyani, indriyas, mano, mind, manaha, buddhir, buddhihi, buddhi, intellect. Asyadhisthana muchyate. Adhishthanam is the seat on which what are the things that are residing is this indriyas, mind and intellect. It is using this indriya, mind and intellect as its seat, and it is well established inside you. And etairvimohayatyesha, by sitting inside this body and using the indriya, mind and intellect, it is causing delusion. Vimohayatyesha jnanamavritya dehinam. Jnanam again is wisdom. Avritya dehinam, it is forming a smoke around that wisdom, deluding that person. So we asked for, Arjuna asked for identification. Just like virus getting into a body, just like desire goes into the body, what happens? How does the desire live? How does the desire establish itself inside us? The answer is this. The desire that gets into the body is using the indriyas, that includes the 5 organs of perception, which is your eyes, ears, tongue, nose, and touch, which is the skin. Sense organs are the indriyas. And then it uses the mind of the person, and also it uses the intellect of the person, and then sits firmly in that person, causing delusion around the wisdom of that person. See how nicely internal structure, our internal mental structure, doctors cannot explain. Biologists, physiologists, they can explain only the internal organs, but not about how desire is established inside us or what organs are it is using. So nicely, Krishna is now declaring that be warned. Such a virus called desire is inside your system, and it is using the vital organs. They are all your 5 indriyas and your mind and your intellect. Now think about it. If your indriyas, mind and intellect are held by that virus called desire, what else do we have? That is the last thing that he says. What does it do, right? It covers what? Covers the wisdom, which is the Atman. It covers that wisdom called Atman by occupying, by invading the vital organs of Indriyas, mind and buddhi. Now there is a joke that people used to say when a thief broke into a man's house and he packed all the valuables, boxes and boxes of valuables. After packing everything, he asked the owner of the house to carry those boxes all the way up to his house, that thief's house. He's going to pack off that night and then go away. But he wanted to bring owner to bring all the boxes. That is more important. Now the owner, the next day, he went to the king and he told that a thief broke into my house. The king asked, "Is that so? How much valuables are gone?" Then he said that I'm not worried about the valuables that the thief took away from me. I was asked to carry those valuables myself. That was hurting me the most than losing the valuables itself. So that is what is precisely happening. The desire, the virus, any virus for that matter, entering our body is okay as long as it lives, and then, but it is using our own vital organs for its survival. That is the most horrible thing, right? The desire now is using our own physical organs, our own mind, our own intellect. Now, you can ask a question. How does the desire uses the mind or intellect itself, and then how does it proliferate itself inside our body? Now, just ask this question to yourself. Any desire, it can be any desire about wanting to buy something, right? That is the most common desire that we all have, especially this holiday season. Gifts, right? If someone gives gifts, we are happy, and we want to give gifts to others, and we want to receive gifts a lot, and we want to buy ourselves a lot of stuff, right? So when we are buying to ourselves, that is the form of desire, right? So not all buying all is desire, right? Essentials, of course, are needed over and above. How does what does it happen? What does it do? You let's say we are hankering to buy a stuff, a something, and we needed more money, or we are not able to right away do it for some reason or the other. Few things are just blocking us from doing it. Maybe it takes a week or two so that we can actually get our hands to that thing, whatever may be the reason. Now, during these 2 weeks, we are hankering. Our mind is lodged on that thing. Whatever that we wanted to buy, or whatever that we wanted to get, or anything like that. We are just not able to hold on to that. 2 weeks, oh my goodness. Or maybe, if you wanted to buy some expensive jewelry or expensive items, then you wanted to get more money, and you wanted to just think, just earn more, or what, any such thing, right? So, but the thing is, it is delayed. During the period of delay, slowly our mind is losing its peace, because our mind is latched on to that thing all the time. Whatever that we do, we are just we're having our food, preparing food, having food, doing office work. Every time mind is still latched onto that. Every once in a while, we go back to that. We just rub it. Oh, I know that I need to wait for. Again, we come back to this. And then after some time, we go and then rub it again. Oh, yeah, I need to wait for 2 weeks. So the mind is not able to focus on what it is doing right now, but we go back. What is happening now? We don't want to do that. We know for sure that it is going to take two weeks. So why can't the mind rest in peace for a while, until at least 2 weeks? I know that, okay, it's going to take 2 weeks. What is so big deal about it? But the mind would not listen to us. It will just go back, and then again, what is happening there? If that happens, if we just switch back to that and start rubbing that, the thing, the response depends on who you are. Response might be like, oh yeah, takes 2 weeks. I need to still wait. You go person, you are going down. That is one response. Other response can be, what can I make it to do, reduce it? I wanted to have it right now. I can't wait for 2 weeks. Okay, let me do this. Let me call up those guys to check if that they can speed up things. Is it possible? Can I expedite it? Even if it takes $100 more, I'm okay. What has happened just now? Our brain starts working. See, our intellect is occupied now. Intellect is engaged, even without our knowledge. We started exploring opportunities. We start to explore options that will make us enjoy that thing right now. See that how nicely internally, without our knowledge, everything is working. We won't even realize it most of the times. First thing, we won't even realize that I'm so much attached to that thing. That is the desire. I have an attachment. I know I ordered it. Let me get it whenever I get it. My mind will not even go there. Is the perfect thing. Then we can order hundreds of things. But until we get, I cannot resist. I'm so much waiting to get it. And the Amazon package is waiting on the doorstep, and anyone brings that inside, jump on it, break it open, get it, see it. What our eyes are itching to see that. See, our hands are waiting to get hold of it, whatever that may be. Have you experienced that? I have. I frankly admit it. I have. I'm not, just because I'm preaching, that doesn't mean that it is easy to practice. But I'm working on it, of course, with awareness. That is most important. Everyone is a victim of it. But how much we are aware of it and how much we work towards it is what is most important, right? So, like Krishna mentioned in this verse, once desire enters, that desire will make use of your indriyas, your mind, and your intellect is well established in this simple example, right? It is, we are not able to control our eyes or ears. And if people just, if they appreciate us, that is music to our ears. Wow, you made a good decision of buying that, and that suits you very well. Perfect. Those are the words I want to hear. My ears are yearning for it. My eyes are yearning to see that decorate me. It can be an Apple Watch, or it can be a jewelry for anything, right? Or it can be an electronic good that decorates my living room. That is what desire does. It invades the vital organs. Mind and intellect are the most vital organs besides the physical organs, though. And we give very less importance to mind and intellect. If you look at it, as much care that we give to our eyes and ears, we do not care that much to our mind or intellect. How can we prove that one way or the other? If we are wise, if we care for our mind, the first thing that we all should ask is this: am I thinking about anything? Because the fundamental property of mind is thinking. One and only action it does is thinking, thinking, thinking. Thought, thought, thought. That is the only thing mind knows, right? If we care for mind, what does it mean by that? Everyone, even in internet, if you look at it, they will talk a lot about taking care of your hair care, facial care, nails, care for your nails. Beautiful. I'm not mocking it, or I'm not saying it. They are all important, but Mind is such an important thing that we are ignoring it. How can we take care of our mind? The way that we can say that a person takes care of his or her mind is that they know about what thoughts are occupying their mind, quality of those thoughts. If my mind gets into a thought, let's say for a moment, is this thought going to bring me down or it is going to bring me up? Is it going to leave me drained or is it going to make me feel happy at the end of it? Whoever asks the question before accepting that thought to stay in the mind are intelligent. If that thought at the end of it is I'm going to feel drained and exhausted and weak, wise people ignore that thought already one. Or if anything can be done about it, they will do it. They will bring in the intellect and they will resolve the problem. The only two things: either resolve that problem right away, because any problem in this world is fixable. If it is not fixable, if it is beyond my reach, there is no need to worry about that at all, because anyway I cannot do anything. If anything can be done by me, I should start doing it. If nothing can be done by me, then do not entertain those thoughts. That is the first responsibility that we have when we say that we take care of our mind. Now, let's move on to the next verse. The reason I mentioned that is how mind can also be affected and how we are not able to, we are helpless, right? Our mind takes the decision and it runs the show for us. That is harmful. Instead, if we are aware of it and inspect it, what desire goes in, mind is not getting hooked on to that desire. That is the good thing. And intellect is not working on it. Intellect should intervene and say that it's okay, let's wait for 2 weeks. If it is going to be 2 weeks, let's wait for it. What is the hurry in paying extra $100 shipping fees to get it right tomorrow itself? Right? That is how intellect should work. But intellect will not work that way, because we are asking the intellect to look for options. See how I can get early. So we talk to the customer support, we yell at them, I'm a regular loyal customer, how dare you are shipping me so late? Intellect is doing all those things. We are abusing the intellect. Or in other words, the desire that is sitting inside us has already invaded our intellect, invaded our mind, invaded our vocal ability. Right? Our words are now totally different. Vocabulary is entirely different. We are lashing at people, blasting at others without any respect. That is all because of one thing, which is the desire that is making us behave that way. If you had seen people with the property lawsuits, you would know already. Most of us would have encountered that in our families, right? So you will know clearly what I'm referring to. That desire of that land, the piece of land, I own it. I have a part in it. That is it. We don't want any relatives. We don't want any relationships. I don't care if you are a mother, father, brother, sister. No, I wanted that piece of land. That's all, right? So that is how our mind and intellect are affected by the desire. And that is, in Krishna's words, that is a disease. That is a mental disease. Most of us, as far as he is concerned, we are having that mental disease. But no one takes mental diseases like that as a serious issue unless someone goes into deep depression or extremely hysterical. We don't worry about it. But mental disease is from 0 to 100. 100 is hysteric, right? Hysterically behaving. Whatever this behavior, like acting out of desire, maybe like 40, 50, 60, doesn't mean that we are zeroed out. We have zeroed out our desire and that no disease at all. Still, everyone has disease. Everyone goes through the kind of infatuation towards the things around us, that our mind gets latched onto that and we yearn for it and we bring us down. That is the most, that should never happen. Anything should never bring us down. That is the most important thing. We can have desires, we can have opinions about, we can have interest in our outside world, but literally nothing externally should bring our system down. When you are feeling depressed, down, that means that we are having a desire, strong desire about that thing. That is what is making us go down. So if we inspect it, then we can address the problem. So now let's move on to the next verse. Next verse is the 41, and that says, Tasmat Tvamindriyan Yadav Niyamya Bharatarshapha Papmanam Prajahihyenam Jnana Vijnana Nashanam. So now, okay, Arjuna is asking, fine, I get it. Once the desire goes in, it just occupies the indriyas, and then the mind and intellect and the whole system is occupied, and the person collapses at the end of it. Now, what is it that I can do? Do I have the control on it, or I do not have any control about it? And if so, where is the control? Intellect has the control, mind has the control, or indriyas has the control, is the question here, right? There are three things. What do we control? Now, in this shloka, Krishna gives precisely that answer. Let's run it once more so that you can appreciate it. Tasmat, therefore, tvam, you, indriyani, that means our indriyas, adav, at first of all. I explained about the indriyas, the mind, the intellect, but first of all, niyamya, control, indriyani. Control the indriyas first. Bharatarshabha. Bharatarshabha is Arjuna. Arjuna is one more name called Bharatarshabha. Papmanam, sinful. This sinful desire. Prajahi hyenam. Destroy that. Kill that sinful desire. And which causes jnana vijnana nashanam. That causes the destruction of your intelligence, which is jnana, and also the realization, the wisdom, the atman. We are not able to see our atman because of that. That is the desire that is not letting us make progress in this spiritual world, nor is it letting you live happily in this material world also. You can live a happy life in this material world also if you can defeat that desire. Defeating the desire is not necessarily for spiritual life. It is also for this life. To live happily in this life, the moment we are not attached to that thing, everything will go smoothly. And a person, a doctor, he wants to perform bypass. If he is going to perform bypass operation on his own family member, do you think that he will be able to do it well? He will never do it. He will always ask other doctors to do the bypass for himself. Of course, he cannot do it, but his own family members, he will not do it. That is because he's having attachment. He's having a strong attachment that the outcome should be well, right? And that is the desire. The desire is that they should live this operation at the end of it. But if it were any other person who is performing this operation, is going to live. So that is the precise reason that they are asking others to perform the surgery. Likewise, if you are able to take charge of the desire about anything in this world, then you will have a better, you won't have that attachment towards it. And in this shloka more specifically, he says that your intelligence and your wisdom will be intact. For that, make sure that your indriyas are under control. Indriyas are controlled in the sense, like, if you look at it, the desire starts from where? The desire starts because we are able to see things with our eyes. The more we see during the day, every time we see things during the day, we take pictures in our mind. It's like WhatsApp pictures. You just point your mobile on that, and then we just click pictures, store it in your hard disk. Likewise, our hard disk in our mind, we take pictures of whatever we see throughout the day. And those things that we see remain in our mind, and it is replayed whenever we are free, or even without our knowledge, they get replayed. Remember that necklace that we saw the other day. All of a sudden, it just brings up the images of the necklaces that we have seen, or the cars that we had seen. It brings up those images. So who is responsible for that? The indriyas. Because we saw that, we remember it, and we remember it, it is replayed. It is replayed, mind wants to have it. And once mind decides to have it, intellect kicks in. And intellect is ready now to figure out how to get that. See, everything is related. So first it starts with we seeing that, right? So that is why he's saying that doesn't mean that you should not see, or I cannot help it. I just go there and I see it. I cannot just close my eyes, right? That is impractical. But all he mentions here is, all we need to understand here is, indriyas are the first touch points where we get knowledge about this world, right? How do we learn about this world? Without these indriyas, we have no knowledge at all. In a sense, wisdom is there inside, but knowledge is not there. We get to know about this, that, he, she, it, them, everything we perceive through the indriyas. Sense organs are helping us to gain knowledge about the world, right? And so when that is the number one point that is getting impacted by the desire, when we see a thing and we know for sure that it is causing a desire inside us, the best thing is to not see that again and again. When we hear a thing and that is causing us to make it hear again and again, that is harmful. Again, it's nothing to do with, if that gives you peace, perfect, go ahead, keep looking at it all the time. For example, decorations of Balaji or Venkateshwara, for Mahalakshmi, it's been decorated so well today. I keep looking at it all the time. No one stops you. Go ahead and then do enjoy, because that is not causing any jealousy or causing you any negative impressions in your mind. peace, that is neutral, right? You're not, no one says that, how dare Mahalakshmi is having such a good jewelry on her and I don't have it. No one says that, right? That jealousy will not be the outcome of it. But if others wearing it, we start looking at it, we start naturally jealousy. So best thing we can do in those situations is to avoid seeing that again and again, right? Then that causes, if we can exercise restraint to control, then we should control. If a person is having diabetes and he or she is having diabetes, and a pack of sweets always is there in the kitchen, let's say, and it is placed right in front of him, the best thing he can do is not to see that at all, first place, because every time I see, I go and grab it. And even if that happens, not to eat is the next thing, because indriyas include tongue also. Give more and more, it is not going to be happy. It is going to ask for more and more. The controlling should be done, number one. It can be in eating, most importantly, and seeing, right? And the other ways of pleasures that human always wants again and again and again and again and again. To be aware of it, that those desires are unquenchable. Meaning, unquenchable is they are never done. They always will ask for more and more and more. And that is the reason Krishna now precisely points out the main thing that you want to work on, Arjuna, to control the desires in you, which is the virus that is going to ruin you. First thing, watch out for your indriyas. Do not let your indriyas go in all directions as they wanted to go. Pull them back, hold them, and make sure that you are having the control of it. See, first thing is to take the control of the indriyas. We have to take one step back to see and appreciate that we have these powers. Indriyas are powers that are given to humans, each one of us, every one of us. Eyes, for example, tongue, for example, nose, ears, these are all powers that we took it for granted almost. I have these powers. So what is so good about it? I'm able to see him. The powers of eyes are very well known only to the blind. If you ask them, they will tell that, oh, you are so lucky in this world that you are able to see the world and appreciate it how it is. But we are not able to see anything. And such a realization should be there every day, that I have these powers to see this world. What if one day we wake up in the morning and then we lose eyesight? Just think about it for a moment. We are not able to see anything. As much as we try to open our eyes, we couldn't. Or even if you open, we are not able to see anything. God forbid that happens to anyone. But imagine for a moment that if any such thing happens, how worse it could be. But we all take it for granted. Every day morning, we open our eyes, we are able to see, and we go ahead with our job duty. Eyes are just one of the organs. 10 organs we have in our body. 10 indriyas. And each one of them carry powers, and they help us day and night to bring information from outside and give us the power to live. And we don't appreciate it. We wanted more powers. How more powers will be given to us only when we appreciate the given powers. And you make use of it very well. God's system also works the way that other systems in this world work. In a company or in a political system or in a state administration, if you look at it, a group or a department will be given budget, and they will have to run their business with that money. If they underutilize that budget, let's say $100 is given to us, and we are making use of only $50 every year. Remaining $50, we are not even using it. We don't know how to use it. The next year, after a few years, the administrative head will ask, why should I give you $100? Because you are hardly using all full $100. You are using only $50. So let me give you only $50, right? So that thing precisely works with our body, especially. If we are not utilizing some of the muscles, some of the tissues, some of the organs, powers, then they are not going to give us 100%. They are going to decide that, okay, anyway, you are not using it. Brain, we are seeing that in brain. If we are not using the brain actively, brain will start losing its functionality, right? So that is the reason that in this case, we should make sure that we are aware of the powers that are given to us, which are the indriyas, and appreciate it. Take a moment every day, morning or evening, or few minutes, spend a few moments as to ask yourself question. You will definitely enjoy that. Oh, I have this power. Just let me just think about it. What all things I can do with this? You will get a lot of answers. Oh, I didn't realize that I do all these things with my eyes. I do all these things with my ears. They are so wonderful. They are amazing. We wonder about a lot of other things in this world. They are not even worth of any wonder. But the great wonders are hidden in this body of ours, externally as well as internally. If you think about it, brain can bring thousands of ideas to most difficult problems. We ourselves don't know that such answers exist within us. We should ask. So if you in other religions, there is a word, right? Knock on the door will open. Ask, you will get. That is precisely pointing to our body. Knock on the doors. Ask, what is wrong? What is it happening? Why is this happening? We will see that just like an never-ending fountain of intelligence is there inside of us. It will just start bursting out with answers, right? So when we do that, then we will take charge of our indriyas, because now we know the powers of the indriyas. Then we can manage them, how valuable they are. We will manage them. Oh, we don't want to abuse it. Pearls or precious stones, nobody puts it into roadside, right? But if you go, a lot of other stones lying on the roadside, pebbles or some black stones, blue stones, they all are lying on the roadside. But some precious gems, they are also stones, end of it. Why is it that we preserve it and put it inside? Because we know the value of it, right? That is why appreciating the value of our indriyas and our own body and mind and intellect is very important. That is when we will care for it, we will preserve it, and we will value it. And then we know how to manage it when they are going astray, when they are going in all directions without the control. We can just drag them back. No, you are not worth going in those directions. You are much more precious. Start doing these things. These are good things. Your value is well appreciated in these areas. We will be able to do that, direct it only when we are able to. Now, how can we do it? Indriya, how can we take charge of indriyas? Is the next shloka that Krishna is saying. Now he said that indriyas are the ones you need to control. Now Arjuna asked another question, how can we do that? Now Krishna precisely says, nails it down by this statement. Indriyani paranyahu indriyebhya param manah manasastu para buddhihi yo buddheh paratastu sah. Precisely put in perspective. Indriyani paranyahu. He says that indriyas are seems to be the most powerful, but above the Indriyas are the mind. And in my mind is also powerful, but above the mind is intellect. Intellect is powerful, but above the intellect is your Atman. Your Atman, the superior Atman that sits inside you, which is your own true identity. That is actually you. None of this is you. Your Indriyas or your mind or intellect, they don't identify you, but that true wisdom called Atman is you. That is the most powerful. Now, if Krishna is drawing an org chart in the organizations, they used to say something like senior manager, employees, or CEO, vice presidents, directors, and managers and employees, right? So likewise, now he's saying that Atman is the CEO. Next one is the intellect. Next one is your mind. And then all the Indriyas. 10 Indriyas in our body are like just the workers. They are just workers. They all have mind as their boss. Mind is the manager of this. And mind in turn is not alone. Mind is also an employee reporting into the intellect. Intellect is the boss of the mind. And intellect again is not the boss of us. We are the boss and we are nothing but the Atman. That Atman is the control. Finally, that is what now Krishna is now clearly giving. You are in charge of your life. Who says that I can hardly do anything? You can take charge of your life. One who realizes this, one who is going drifting without knowledge of any such thing, will not take any action. But one who is knowing this, that you are in charge and the mind and intellect, everything is under the control of your Atman. With that, you do the control of the Indriyas, Arjuna. You are in charge. The last shloka wraps up. So I wanted to just finish this last chapter, last verse, and this will bring us to the conclusion of this chapter. So let's see this also. Evam buddheh param buddhva sanstabhyatmanam atmana jahi shatrum mahabhaho kamarupam durasadam. So with that higher power, defeat the lower powers. Take charge of the lower powers and defeat them one by one. Now, if you wanted to control your Indriyas, use your brain or intellect. If your brain and mind is going in a different direction, use your Atman to take charge of your whole being, right? That is why intellect is, at least Atman doing it is the spiritual level where we go fully into the meditative state and all. Until then, we'll have to first take charge of our intellect, which is the nearest. And intellect is in our charge, then we can make sure that Indriyas are controlled. When Indriyas are in our control, then the desire can be in our control. Doesn't mean that desire is eliminated. Desire is watched, monitored. Not unnecessary desires are not bothering me. Mind is also in the control, in the sense it is not indulging in any thoughts of desire or thoughts of worries and bringing me down. Because I latched on to the intellect, I am well informed, I will use my brain and intellect to analyze what is happening to me, the situation that is leading me to my anything, to my overexcitement or depression. Both are not correct. Just like how depression is also bad, overexcitement also is bad. These are two extremes, right? So when I'm overexcited, I don't even know what is, I'm so happy. If that happens to you, take a moment, take a deep pause. That is also not correct. It has to be balanced. Happiness should be there always. Do not get me wrong. Happiness should be there in our heart all the time. But that doesn't mean that it has to explode. Exploding happiness means that we are not in charge of our mind. Our mind is like a monkey. It is now jumping like a monkey that has a hold on a banana. That is all it is. Once the banana is done, the monkey will again go down, start crying. That is why we should make sure whether our happiness is genuine or it is. And also depression. I don't want such thoughts that is good. Taking me down, let me have thoughts that are more stable. With that, we come to the end of this session. I will see you all next week with a new chapter. Fourth chapter is very, very important, because if you have listening to this, fourth chapter is the most important of all, where Krishna is revealing the biggest secret of all. And he is going to reveal that secret, which he promises that whoever who knows this secret, they are almost like they attained moksha. In this birth itself, they attained moksha if they just know this secret. What it is and how it is, next few weeks we will see it. Shriyah Kantaya Kalyana Nidhaye Nidhayetinam Shri Venkata Nivasaya Srinivasaya Mangalam. Thank you very much.